Good enough. I didn't get to them in time. Folks, the need is real. If you really need to understand what we do, go talk to a widow that didn't have life insurance. And she'd be years later. Go talk to her and find out what it was like. Mm. Go talk to a mother and a mother really that had to bury her child because they didn't have enough money, had to beg and didn't get the burial that they wanted. Was not able to honor their grief and the love of that child. Folks, $1 a day. I love it, Coach, when Carolyn Myers said, if you feel, she talked to one person like, what's your plan? And he goes, oh, they'll do a GoFundMe. She goes, do the GoFundMe now.
Wow.
And buy the life insurance now so that your family can have dignity and you're not such a loser. Like, you don't want to beg, but you want your family to beg. So, Coach, that's my 2 minutes. That's what I got there because, folks, you must realize you were here for a reason, Kyle. You were brought here for a reason, Don. You've been brought here for a reason, Jennifer, is to do that. And imagine, just imagine when you hear the news article, GoFundMe has closed its doors, filed bankruptcy because no one no longer uses it. Then we know we've won. Until that happens, Coach, I'm not stopping. Orenders or vendors are not stopping because it's too big to stop. Thank you, Coach.
I'll tell you, we got a little area in Dallas-Fort Worth called Highland Park. That's where all the rich people live. And they live there because they didn't want land. I prefer land. And you're never going to find a GoFundMe or very few GoFundMes in Highland Park. And they got money. The only people that use GoFundMe are the people that need it the most. Life insurance. All right, we've got Dan Gunis now, and we're going to have Errol, but he had to postpone for a couple of minutes to get his slides together. Dan, you're going to talk to us about the second pillar, mutual funds. But what is a mutual fund? How does it work? What's this stuff? What's an UGMA? What is all that? What's a SEP IRA? What's all that? What's a Roth? Dan Gunis.
Got to unmute first, Dan. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. I'm a little hoarse. We had our next door neighbor had their daughter get married, and I've been known to, when they get dancing, I kind of whippy-do up. So if I sound a little hoarse, that's what it is. Listen, it's an honor to be able to talk to you all, and I appreciate Bill asking me to share with this. Here's the bottom line. Where I come from middle class America, and I'm pretty sure pretty much everybody on this call is the same. And I come from probably the lower. My dad was a barber, didn't ever make a whole lot of money, but my neighborhood, not a dang person knew anything about saving money. And you know what I found out? It's the same today. And even if you have a couple nickels, you're making whatever's the amount of money, nobody knows what to do out there. I remember, Bill, when and you and I remember this. Most everybody on this doesn't remember, but the Chrysler Corporation up here was ready to go under back in the late 70s. The late 70s, and they had a gentleman come on board by the name of Lee Iacocca. He used to be the president of Ford, and he came on over there, and he went to the government for. He didn't get a bailout. He just wanted loan guarantees that the money they borrowed to get back up on their feet again, and then they would pay it back. And that's what happened within like a year and a half. But the Chrysler stock went down to like nothing, and I'm just, I was flying airplanes back then, and I just knew, I said, man, I got $500, which like today's probably $1,000 or maybe $1,500. And so I called the brokerage in the area, Dearborn, Michigan. I live in Garden City. It was a blue collar. Anybody that's from up here, Dearborn was a little bit more upscale. And the stock brokerage was there. So I called the stockbroker there, talked to the stockbroker, and I go, man, I want to buy this Chrysler stock right now because I knew it was going to come through. I mean, you just, and he laughed at me. And I took it wrong at first, but now, a little while later, I kind of look back at him going, I'm glad he kind of laughed. I mean, he was looking out like, hey, kid, I can't take the only amount of money you have and buy one company stock, even though I knew, boy, this is good. And I would have been right. I would have made it, I would have at least tripled my money on it. But most people you can't go out and buy one company stock. In fact, if I can do this, I know I'm gonna definitely stay on my time here, but I got to do this quick drawing because it'll definitely make the point to the ladies and gentlemen on the jury here. And do I have my whiteboard, Tony? Can I use my whiteboard real quick?
Yes, sir. I did co-host for both, so you're all set.
I'm old school. I learned underneath the original Art Williams Bill Orender system, notepads and paper and pens. Of course, we didn't have computers back then anyway. But let me just draw this out for you real quick if I can figure it. There we go. I can get this. Okay, nobody touch the screen now. Let just Dan destroy this thing. There's all these different places that you can put money. And when I first came into business, I was novice, other than I knew that the stock market was out there. And, you hear bonds and stocks and CDs and passbook savings and gold and derivative and all this stuff. And if you're like me when you first come into this, I'm swimming in this. I'm like, at the McDonald's, remember back in the day, they used to have those those ball things that the kids could jump in with all the little balls and jump around. That's what I felt like. I was swimming in all this. Where is it all fit? Well, here, I'm going to explain it to you real quick. And I think I can do this quick enough. And don't worry about my drawing here. Saving money is similar in a couple respects. There's to some things out there. There's conservative and then there's aggressive. You've heard about this before. People, saving money conservatively. And there's positives and negatives to each side. Just as we know in life, there's always two sides of the coin, so to speak. Saving conservatively, where are some of the places that you can put your money conservatively? Well, I pointed out already. There's bonds. And I'm going to try to slow down so I can write good here. There's bonds. There's savings accounts at the bank. There's certificates of deposit. We call them certificates of depreciation because they don't keep pace with inflation. And I'll make that point in a minute. There's money markets. Okay. There's real estate. I mean, if you own property, you own it. You're not financing it. If you own dirt, you can't lose dirt, right? Now, as long as you pay your taxes on that dirt, you're going to be able to have it. But it's guaranteed. It's not going nowhere, right? The negative with the positive is the safety of where this money is at. The negative is the low return. Okay, and I'll make my point here real quick. The low return, you're talking interest rates of 0.5 to at best at times 6%. And when you're in an environment with inflation, we need to average at least 10 to 12% to stay. You don't want to break even. You want to grow your money. So we need at least 10% on the money. We're not going to get that here. So a lot of people overreact. They say, well, if I'm not going to be conservative, I got to get aggressive with my money. Well, where you're putting your money aggressive? And one of the good things about aggressive savings is, man, yeah, bam, boom, bam, bang, you can make some money, like maybe even overnight. What are some of the places? Well, I mentioned it earlier, the precious metals, okay, the commodities, oil and gas leases, limited partnerships in developing land out in the middle of somewhere. Those are the types of places that you can put your money. The good news is, yeah, you can make a killing. The bad news is you can lose all of it. And not only all of it, you can, if you do it in some of these cases, buying on margin, you lose all your money and then still owe more. We can't go here. The average guy or gal cannot go there. And just to make this point real quick, for those of you that are the millennial right now, or even the Zs, you heard of crypto. That's even further to the right. And that is like, no. Forget that. All right. Just there's no regulation. There's no oversight. That's just nowhere to put your money. Special. Now, if you got like $18 million and you want to goof around with a $500,000, go have at it. Okay. And I tell that to people. I said, listen, if you have a $500,000 invested from this line over, then you could look out at that stuff and then maybe work with 5 or 10% of your money. You got $500,000 and you take 5% of it. That's what, or 10%, that's 50 grand, 25 grand. Go throw it over there. If you lose it, so what? It's like all of us right now. If we lost a $50 bill this week, I mean, I don't want to. I mean, I pick up pennies when I run across them just for the sheer fact of it's sitting there. But if any of us lost $50 this week, guess what? We're still going to be able to buy groceries and put gas in the car, right? That's the same thing. You've got $500,000. Okay, if you want to do that with all that stuff, fine. So here I'm talking about you can't go here. You definitely can't go here. Where do you go? It's right in the middle. And what is in the middle? The stock market. The stock market is the only place in America over the last 100 years that you could have put, I'm going to work my thing here, where you could have put money and averaged a 12% rate of return over the last 100 years. It's the only place. Now, there's a smart way and a wrong way. And then I'm coming up, Bill, to my explanation what a mutual fund is. The wrong way, and I always pick on Uncle Lou, where I come from, everybody always seemed to have an Uncle Louie or Uncle Fred. But Uncle Lou, you hear the story that Uncle Lou took the only money he had, let's say $10,000, and he bought one company stock. And back in the day, there was a company out there called Enron, and it was kind of big. I think in Texas, they all heard about it down there. It was a big energy company. And if old Uncle Louie put his 10 grand in Enron, Uncle Louie lost all his money. And everybody would look at that and go, oh, that don't know anything. They would say, oh my gosh, the stock market. Ooh, hiss, bad, bad, bad. Look what happened to Uncle Louie. No, stock market isn't bad, ooh, hiss. Uncle Louie was an idiot. Uncle Louie was stupid. Uncle Louie was dumb. Can I really go further? He's thick-headed. The guy had no idea that you don't take the only money you have and you buy one company stock. That's financial suicide. All right. So here we go now. They'd say, well, Dan, Mr. Dan, what do you do with your money then? If you got 10, come on, get the eraser here. What do you got if you don't have any money and you want to invest it? Because if you look out the stock market, there's 30,000 companies out there. And the average guy or gal, those of us on here, we don't have the time of day to study the market. If you want to play the market and do that on your own, you got to be on it every day. You can't just take, 3 hours and Google search something. That's horse manure. You've got to be on this thing. So what happens, the average person, if they have $100 a month, how in the world do you buy stocks of companies when you, like our stock in Primerica right now is 270 some dollars. You don't even get a stock, right? You get a half of one almost. So what happens? What does this do? If the most people don't have, here, I'll sum this on up and let me get rid of a little bit of this here. The average person, let's do this. If you take a bunch of people that got $100 a month and they don't have enough money, that's the point I want to make. You need at least $500,000 to spread the money on out properly. Most people don't have that. But if the average guy or gal takes their $100 and they put it in this bucket, and another guy or gal puts another $100 in there into it, and somebody else has got an extra 1,000. Somebody's got, maybe they got 100 grand. That's it. That's it. And they pour that on in there. Now you're creating a fund of money. You got a bucket of money, and we're all doing it mutually. Ta-da! Make sense? That's all a mutual fund is. A collective effort where you got a bunch of people that pull their money together. And when you've got, like in our mutual fund families out there, a few $billion in this bucket, guess what you're able to do? You're able to go on out. Okay, let me do this here. I know I'm watching my time here. You're able to go on out and hire professional managers, men and women that are trained, but they're not only got educated on this stuff, they're actually in the trenches working with, the veteran people that are advising these things and working with them and getting a feel for thing. And, just like in life, like when when you join a police force, they don't put a rookie out there on their own. They have them with an old veteran for a while and start learning. That's what these guys and gals do. And these men and women, now here's the second thing that Uncle Louie didn't have, is he had no experience and he had no training. Well, we answered that with the professional money managers. And what the professional money managers do is they spread the money out into the economy. Uncle Louis wasn't able to diversify his money because he bought one stupid stock and he only had 10 grand. So your $100 now that when you put in a mutual fund is in basically 15 different industries. All right, it'll go in the auto industry, in the oil industry, in the food industry, and entertainment industry, and manufacturing, and financial services, and healthcare. So now, because what happens when you diversify across that, if you get an industry that it's not doing too good, so what? The other 8, 9, 10 are, and then when one of those go down, the other one. So you've got that. Plus, they further diversify in the industry. Are you with me? So they'll go into a Ford and a Chrysler and GM. I'm from Detroit. They'll go into, well, I guess we got to include Toyota now and Honda, I mean, or Lexus or whoever they are down south. They got some of those plants. You got, Exxon Oil. They got so now you're in basically 15 different industries and anywheres from 80 to 100 different companies. And what are the odds of a Home Depot and a Apple and a Microsoft and a Ford Motor Company and what are the odds of 100 different, 80 different of these companies? What are the odds of all of them at the same second going belly up bankrupt? I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but boy, it's almost impossible. You with me? Now, the value will fluctuate. We'll talk about that in a second. But now you've got your money diversified. You got professionals managing it. And I like Bill some time ago called it. He says you could be a moron and put your money into this thing. Literally, you can call it the moron fund. You can get the same rate of return that somebody knows everything about everything and, and some nothing about some other things. But, you know what I mean? We can get the same performance as somebody that's got big bucks. All right, $100 a month, $1,200 a year is getting the same performance as somebody that's got maybe a couple hundred grand in it. So that's basically how this works. All right, now let me get a little bit more specific with my fancy PowerPoint that I did just to so your young kids know that Dan can do at least a half decent job on a PowerPoint. Where's the thing? I can't see it. Where does it say? Start the thingamabob. Starts up there, right there. There we go. All right. See, I can get there. How am I doing on my time? So what happens now is a mutual fund. I got to hurry now. A mutual fund is nothing more than an open-ended, professionally managed. Okay, you get the point on my drawing. Okay. Oh, how do I flip? There we go. Other people pulling their money together, and the diversification part. I like that little saying. It's like spreading peanut butter on a piece of bread. Okay. The time, I already covered that. Most people don't have time to study it. They don't have the experience. And see, that cracks me up too. I've had people come on in and say, "Well, I did my research." And now in my later years, I know exactly what this means. And I get a little quiet. And I sit back and I go, "Well, tell me." I said, "Well, where'd you get it?" "Well, I Googled." "Oh, you Googled what?" "Well, I Googled that blah 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 and so, or I was on Facebook." And you know what that means? That means crap. Because Facebook is feeding them what their interest. If you say I don't like something, man, here comes the crap that what you don't like, right? So yeah, I seen on Facebook that blah 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 blah. I go, oh wait. You mean to tell me that these men and women that manage $5 billion and are able to spend the money for real data and research? I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. Our company, by the way, pays like $2,000 or $3,000 a year just for us to be able to get the Morningstar package to look at stuff. I said, you mean to tell me these people with all this stuff didn't see that, huh? Oh, man, we better let them know. You know what? Come on. All right. Well, there we go. And I said, would you trust yourself in the captain's seat of a 747 or whatever it is today, 767 at altitude? So the perfect investment vehicle for anybody, let alone especially middle America, is a mutual fund, because we can just put our money in, let them work it. They're going to make their percent, 1%, 1.3% management fee. Big stupid deal. You pay $5 on your $100 to put it on in there. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but if I'm going to put my $100 in and somebody's going to turn it into thousands and millions one day, I don't mind giving them 4 or 5% of my $100 every time it goes on in, so I can take that money and quadruple it over 40 years or triple. You with me? So give me a break on that one. Now, let's go into the next area, and I hope I get it on up because when you save money, you want to be able to not pay taxes. Oh gosh. And how do you not pay taxes? You got to put it in vehicles. Okay, my I don't know what's going on with my screen here. You got to put it in vehicles that let me try something else. Let me hit share. You got to put, yeah, I lost it. So I'm going to draw. I can't even draw again. There's the UGMA accounts. Here, I'll do it this way. There's UGMA. There's IRAs. Spell it, Dan. IRAs. Okay. So Dan Gunas is so now you want to put your money places where you don't have to pay taxes as it grows, okay? And the government came out with individual retirement accounts, IRAs, back in 19 whatever it was when I was when I was like 8 years old. I'm lying. I was, well, in my 20s, 30s. But an IRA, there's the two IRAs. There's a traditional and then there's the Roth. And I apologize, gang. I'm down on my time, so I'm not going to try to find my and it looks like Tony's coming to the rescue. How did you get this? There we go. All right, Miss Tony. All right, so the IRA is the when they first came out, and it's still today, you're allowed to put money into it, and you're able to deduct. So if you put $1,000 in the account and you made $30,000 this year, I'm just using that as a low number, you're able to pay taxes on 29,000, not the 30, because you put 1,000 away. So that lowers your taxes for that year. And the money grows tax deferred, which means you don't pay taxes as it grows. It just, I mean, when you make money in America, you got to pay taxes. So in the IRA, as the money's growing, you don't have to take any on out to pay the tax bill until you get to retirement. So you get to 60, 65, or if you're able to do it way earlier, 50, 55, you're able to start taking money on out. Now you're going to pay taxes as it comes out, which you're not taking out $1 million. You're taking out the interest off of it, or you're taking off a percentage. So you take out, let's say you need 30 grand to live on. You got $1 million in there. You take 30 grand out. You're paying taxes on the 30, not on the $1 million, as it comes on out that way. So it's a big advantage. The government a little bit later came on out with what is called the Roth IRA, and the Roth IRA allows you to put money on in and grow it tax free. There's two catches. Number one, you can't deduct the contribution. So it's after tax. You go to work, you make 1,000, you put it in there, you can't deduct it. But when it comes time to take it out, it is now tax free. You pay no taxes on the money that comes on out. Okay. Now, if you pull the money on out before you're 59 and a half with either IRA, the traditional or Roth, you are going to pay a 10% penalty on that, even with the Roth. So I want to make that clear. I'm coming up on my time. The UGMA account is a Uniform Gift to Minors Act. And it sounds funny, UGMA. It sounds like a language of some sort. But all that allows is you to put money away for children for later in life. And the government allows you to make not pay taxes on the first $1,200 of growth every year, which, if you're only putting $100 in, you put $1,200 in, it gets 10, 15%, it's going to make a couple $100. That's way below. You don't have to pay taxes on it as that grows. When the child gets to 18, though, that money is their money. Okay, it is now their money, whether they go to school or they want to go on out and travel the world or just go sit and buy video games. I mean, it's their money.
If they know about it.
Well, yeah. Now they do find out about it because eventually the custodian says, "How do I get my money out?" I said, "Well, we got to put the account in their name now, so you gotta let them know about it." But yeah, that there's those custodians that say, "I don't want them to just let it just keep on going." There's a 520. Go ahead, Bill.
I'm one of them. Yeah.
I'm a blabbermouth. All my kids knew about it way early. The 529 plan, same thing, build up college money for kids. It grows tax free. There's no, you pay no taxes as it grows, no matter what the amount is. And when the money comes out, as long as it's used for college, it remains tax free. Okay. If the child doesn't want to use, you don't want to give it, the child doesn't want to go to college, you can still give it to them. It is now taxable though. The neat thing with the 529, to kind of to Bill's point there, you don't have to give it to them. You still have control of that money, even when they turn 18. And
Well,
you can,
they can use it for trade school. They can use it for barber school. They can use
yeah,
it for
anything to better themselves, any kind of educational
not
endeavor.
college necessarily. Yeah.
Yes, no, great point there, Bill. And you can reassign it to maybe a cousin if if the kid's not your kid's not doing the thing, or you could just take the money out yourself and just pay taxes on it. The other thing is rollovers. We do a lot of rollovers. And we do this like crazy. Our company is nuts on this now, and I mean that in a great way. In fact, I was at the wedding. The guy sitting next to me is a banker. And so we got talking, what do you do? So, I went Primerica. Oh, I've heard of Primerica. And I said, you're with a bank? Yeah, I'm a banker. And, blah, 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 blah. And I said, well, there's been some change. He's my age. I said, there's a lot of change in the banking industry. He said, yeah, isn't bank? We call Primerica the Main Street Financial Services Company. And man, I went, yeah, we are. I said, we're the off-road financial vehicle. We take care of guys and gals that only have 50. You can get in a mutual fund, some of the funds with $25 a month, only through us. And the only way we can get to the market, all right, you can do my screen thing. Thank you, Tony. And I got to get done. Let me just say this. Middle class America ain't got a prayer in heck unless Primerica gets to them. There is nobody that's going to middle class America and sit and spend an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours to do what I just did with you. Are you kidding? Come on. That stockbroker I talked to, he laughed at me, for gosh sake. Let alone go to his office and take 15 minutes. No, we do. And you know why? Because the brilliance of Art Williams and the founders, the part-time person. The part-time person in Primerica is like Henry Ford in the auto assembly line. He found a way to make cars cheaper to middle-class Americans in the auto line. Art figured this out. Get the part-timer. They don't need to make $18,000 on a commission when they're sitting with somebody, all right? They make a couple $100 for a couple hours. Dang, part-time income when you're trying to do what you're doing, your full-time job, and your wife or your husband working full-time jobs. Where do you got an extra? You with me? The brilliance of that, and that's why we're crushing them, because we're able to get more people on out there. And dang well and good, every one of you, even if you don't even have an insurance license yet, you can't wait to talk to somebody about the rule of 72. Can I get an amen? Right? I mean, when I got that securities license, boy, oh boy, I couldn't wait to draw that dumb drawing for people on out. So I'm over my time. I hope that answered it. Where the cats meow?
Whatever these young people know what a cat's meow is, but we are in. Well, thank you, Dan. That was wonderful. I hope none of your children saw all that scribble on there, because they probably thought it was cursive, and they don't know what cursive is. All right, everyone. Thank you very much, Dan. And we got Errol. Errol's going to be talking about our concepts, but also IUL. And go ahead, Errol.
Hey, good morning, everybody, and thanks for being allowing me to go second, Coach. And great job, Dan. I'm sorry that I went after you, because you always bring the heat. so hopefully I can keep it up and take it to the next level as well. But I am somewhat glad, because with the topic Coach gave me, I'm glad that Dan talked, because I actually wanted to do it a little slightly different, just take it back to the future. I'm fresh off of a 10-day cruise. So I'm a ride. I see you, man. You're about the same complexion right now, man. I got that Caribbean tan. Still need to shave a little, but man, it's amazing that this company gives us the opportunity to go away and still be paid, right? And so I'm going to share a couple things, and I was staying within my time frame. Let me get it up here. Say Back to the Future. On the cruise, they had the 80s night, and you saw a lot, and they actually showed the movie Back to the Future. And so I'm going to go a little bit even further back to, I'm going to start off with this little video. Dan and Bill and a few of the other elder statements on the call might recognize this person here.
I feel a little bad about that.
Can you guys hear?
I mean, it's an important issue. You have children?
Two.
All right. In this age of inflation and diminishing work opportunities, all those things, his life insurance policy is going to become, after the grief, the number one feature of your life. And you don't know how much you're going to get, if anything.
Uninformed.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're dismissed. I'm sorry. I think what's important about what you said is that there are millions of people who could say the same thing. Isn't it a shame?
It makes me feel a little bit better.
Yeah. How about you? Help me.
I had to take out insurance since I passed 40. Why, I don't know.
Who obliged you to do that?
Our insurance agent.
He wears a uniform, does he, and a badge?
He didn't explain it to me, though, why.
Uh-huh.
I had to
Do
do
you
it.
know what? Do you know the difference between whole life and term insurance?
No.
Do you? Explain. Okay, hang on just a minute. We're beginning. PhD audience here. What's the difference? You want to say anything?
Okay. Whole life insurance is a policy that carries through for your whole life. Term insurance is something that you take and it decreases as the time goes on. You take it out for
Does term insurance have to decrease?
price of it doesn't increase. You pay the same premium from year to year.
Yeah, but is the face value of the policy, does it have to diminish?
That I don't know.
Which is the better of the two policies in your view?
I would say the whole life.
Yeah, because
Well, because at the end of the time, you're going to get back all that you put into it plus dividends. At the end of the term, if you're still living, you don't get anything back.
right. Do you know what?
What?
Today's guest is really going to disagree with you. But that's all right. We're all here to learn, and it doesn't necessarily. Listen, this is complicated. A lot of people share your view, and I want to talk about it. So don't leave me. All right. Norman Dacey, an estate planner from Connecticut, a man who has been under the saddle of the insurance business for a long time. You are foursquare in favor of term insurance, and in fact, you won't even go near a whole life policy. Tell me why.
So guys, listen, sometimes when we talk to people, right, we think that this concept is brand new, but this is from Phil Donahue. My grandmother and my aunts used to watch this show. And I had to Google it. He was on air from 1967 to 1996. So he was the Oprah before Oprah, right? It was must see TV. And so to have a conversation about life insurance on that platform, that was crazy. And to have a person, Norman Dacey, who's the author of this book, there we go, What's Wrong with Your Life Insurance, on there, that was amazing at that time. So this whole concept, this whole thought about whole life and cash value, man, I'm just saying this for the first time, very small in this print. This book was $2.95. That lets you know about inflation, because he's updated it a couple times. And as you see here, I don't know the price right now, but this is it. But the whole point of it is there's a crusade. And sometimes people don't know that it has existed and is still currently. So, because sometimes when we reveal what's going on in industry, people are saying, man, well, if that's true, how is that allowed? It's been that way, and it probably will continue to be that way. And so my job today, my talk is kind of on that term to show you that we're right. Just because everybody isn't saying it, the industry, but we're 100% right. And so in this book here, back in 87, he highlighted Millico, which was our company. So when you see Millico, that's Primerica. That was A.L. Williams that evolved to Primerica, right? And he mentioned A.L. Williams in the book as well, right? But again, I'm just going to show credibility, just show you basically where, just because you didn't hear the conversation doesn't mean that it wasn't talked about or isn't being talked about, right? These are all publications that talks about how bad cash value, whole life. By the way, on that video, the last woman that spoke, she spoke like a whole life insurance agent to me. She knew a little bit too much, talking about dividends and things of that nature. But this is showing you how people who aren't necessarily in the industry have written books and books. There's thousands. This is before the internet, y'all. So you had to read the books right? The invisible banker, everything the insurance industry never wanted you to know, right? Stop wasting your insurance dollars. Life insurance, the great national consumer dilemma, right? And then I guess they didn't read it enough, so Vanita wrote another one. It's still the great national consumer dilemma. This was out in the late 90s. The early 90s when that came out. The insurance trap, unfair at any rate. So it's not just in the US, it's in Canada as well. So much so that different states' insurance departments had to issue warnings. But despite them issuing warnings, it still hasn't stopped the industry from deceptive sales practices. Because we don't read this type of stuff. The average American doesn't read, consumer reports and these books, right? Especially now, right? We have so many distractions. ESPN is probably my biggest distraction, right? We're not listening to CNBC, but consumer reports back in the early 90s, it was so bad then. And it is even worse now. But at that time, it was just like unbelievable that insurance companies are still selling it. Consumer Report, an independent magazine that talks about what's good about every product. They did a series about life insurance, right? And said, life insurance, did your insurance agent lie to you? Of course they did, right? We're talking about supermarkets, right? But in the midst of the supermarket edition, they talked about whole life insurance. So the alarm bells have been ringing. And it got to the point where they just gave us the crown because we do what's right, have done, and currently do, and always will do, right? There's so many articles. And so when you talk to your friends or your Facebook and you read or hear nowadays, you hear people on TikTok and Instagram saying opposing things to what we're saying. But we have all of the advocates on our sides. So yeah, you might get a person who sounds good, looks good, and maybe a very eloquently spoken. But that doesn't change the facts about cash value, whole life, universal life, index universal life being bad. This is Susie Orman. She said, I have a top 10 hate list. And one of them is universal and variable life, right? So in the A.L. Williams way, you see all of these additional articles, right? And the question is, can all of these people be wrong? And we're going back years and years. As early as the 1800s, proving that we're right. Right? It's even so bad out there, guys, that the American Association for Justice, they had to compile a top 10 worst insurance companies list. How they raise premiums, deny claims, and refuse insurance to those who most need it. All right. And so I just want you to know that you're at the right place at the right time. I'm going to go to another video and we'll bounce back and forth to this, but to the PowerPoint in a second. I'll stay within my time still, Coach. But let me show you guys this video because I think it's important for us to really know how bad it's out there and then just really know that we're right. So talking about specifically, I guess, universal life for a point, because that's the worst of all of them, in my opinion. But there's thousands. Matter of fact, you just Google universal life insurance lawsuits and you just go down. Kansas City Life Insurance to pay $45 million class action settlement, right? State claims added to amend lawsuit over National Life IUL illustrations. South Carolina attorney launched national firm targeting IUL fraud. SEC refuses leave in Sun Life class. It was a multi-$100 million class action lawsuit against them. Trans-American, right? So it's bad out there, guys. But Listen to this video here. I'll watch this video.
It's estimated more than 1 million consumers purchased universal life insurance policies since 1980. At least 100,000 of them in Florida. Our Taking Action reporter Jackie Calloway found these policies now threaten the retirement plans of many who paid into them.
Retired corporate executive Hans Johnson bought a universal life policy in 1999 as protection for his wife, Mick.
We choose life insurance for 110,000. Put in a down payment of 17,000.
The Johnsons estimate that they paid 85 grand in premiums over the years. Now they have nothing to show for it.
All that money is gone now, says the insurance company.
I was very disappointed and angry that this could be done to us.
What happened to the Johnsons is affecting countless universal life policyholders across the country.
I am getting angry phone calls every day saying, what does this mean?
Insurance advisor David Kennan says policyholders will find the explanation in their universal policies fine print. The bottom line, these policies, unlike whole and term life, are tied to interest rates.
If you purchased the policy when interest rates were high in the 80s and 90s, the chances are that you're going to lose your coverage and all of the money you've paid in.
Dave, who owns Gulf Coast Insurance Advisors in Sarasota, estimates this will affect the retirement plans of tens of thousands of Floridians, just like the Johnsons.
That insurance is gone and it's down the drain.
If interest rates don't rise soon, policyholders will have to kick in more money to maintain coverage. The concern? That policyholders are not aware that their insurance is near death.
Everyone who has this kind of insurance should really look into their insurance.
I'm Jackie Calloway, taking action.
Now, this was from like 2012, I believe. But you heard what she said. If interest rates don't rise soon, what's the government doing right now? Are they increasing it? They're trying to slash interest rates. So it's the same problem right now that people are having when it comes to those policies, and they lose all of their money. The lady on the Phil Donahue show says you get something back, some dividends and things of that nature. No, a dividend, the terminology of that word dividend when it comes to insurance is not a positive thing. It's actually an overpayment of your insurance premium, and then you get that in return. Here's another video, because this is what happens on the back end of those policies.
Customer calls in, not just any customer. This lady is 72 years old. And the moment she starts talking, I already knew what she was calling about. She starts by saying that she got a letter and she didn't understand what the letter meant, but she thinks it's trying to tell her that her policy is about to be terminated. And the bad thing about it is that she is absolutely correct. She starts asking questions about her policy, what it's saying, why is this letter being sent to her? And it says a date. It's telling her policy is going to terminate in February of 2025. So in order to give myself time to prepare to explain this type of information, I say, ma'am, I do see your letter. I'm just going to take a minute to review it, and I'm going to place you on a really brief hold. So I place on a brief hold, I gather all the information, and I start to prepare myself to explain to her that because her policy is running out of cash value, it is about to terminate itself, guaranteed February 2025. Get back on the phone. I pretty much explained to her that your policy is running out of cash value. She says, well, I've had this policy since 1987. And I say, yeah, and I understand you have had that policy since 1987. You've done nothing wrong. You've paid your premiums on time, every month, faithfully. However, the policy is running out of cash value because you've been paying the same premium every year since 1987. You haven't increased it. You haven't put any more money into your cash value. Therefore, there's not enough money to offset the cost of insurance. So now your policy is about to end next year in February. And she goes to say, well, what can I do? Is there anything I can do to keep my policy? Can I convert it? Can I put more money into it? Is there anything I can do? I explained to her there's nothing. There's literally nothing you can do. The only thing she can do is go to an agent, have them quote her a term policy, and see how much that would cost her. But essentially, she has to start from scratch. This type of policy is a universal life policy, and this is very common. We get calls like this all the time where a 72-year-old person, 80-year-old person, even a 60-year-old person who's had their policy for like more than 15 years thinks that just paying the premiums on time every month is going to keep the policy, and it does not. At the end of the day, she was very upset. She was very broken. She felt like she had put all of her money into this policy for nothing. And she was like, well, I just want to cash it out. Just give me the surrender amount since I'm not going to have a death policy. I proceeded to tell her, we can cash the policy out, but the only thing about it is that your surrender amount has dropped down to $70. She only had $70 in her cash surrender amount because the policy picks at it in order to offset the cost of insurance. So that way her premium doesn't rise and it keeps the policy going, but it can only keep the policy going for so long. It's a lot. She hung up on me.
And that's why they're having these class action lawsuits, guys. And so way back in the Phil Donahue days, the warning, the alarm sounds has been ringing, but people still don't have it. So that's why it creates what we do. That's why it makes what we do 100% right. And it creates a big opportunity. So much so that when we broke away from Citigroup, this conglomerate investment firm believed in us because we're the truth tellers, right? Warburg Pincus invest hundreds of millions of dollars into the IPO of Primerica when we were breaking away. Listen, this was in 2010. They invested over $230 million at that time. And then they came back and bought some more. I also had the option to invest another $100 million because they know that we did was right. Not only did they know it, you think they investigated? You think they did private eyes? Of course they did, right? Warren Buffett also believed in us, right? When he talked about the insurance, the insurance, and he recommended us to add, or investors add Primerica to their portfolio because they know that we do what's right.
You said at the top of the show, you don't do a lot of trading, so it's not trading that's led to your outperformance, but you've been kind of busy and maybe busier than you normally would have been. This week, for example, I see you bought Primerica, you sold Lincoln National. Why the pair trade there?
Yeah, we like to say Primerica is a great business disguised as an insurance company. Their specialty is selling really low value policies to households with net worths under 100,000. This is a seriously underserved population. The problem is there's not a lot of commission to be earned on such small policies. So you need a really efficient distribution force, and that's what sets them apart. They have this variable cost distribution force that allows them to sell these policies at attractive economics, and they reinsure about 85% of the risk. So really it's a distribution model that's very difficult to repeat. We sold Lincoln National. We've kind of lost confidence in that business given the big reserve charge that they took last year. And Primerica, we think, is a far superior business.
And listen, so this was a couple years ago. I forgot how long ago this was on CNBC. But that gentleman, if you notice that ticker in the right, it showed Primerica at $187 a share. Today, Primerica is at $278, right? So did he bet on the right company? Of course he did, because not just the price, we do what's right, right? Back in the early 90s, these guys talked about the art of making money. And they went through and evaluated all the different ways a company can make money, right? And they said, sell to the masses, fulfill the fundamental need for many people, be low risk, provide an opportunity for ongoing passive income, require low staff component, have stable growth, long-term demand, low overhead costs, low startup. So they came up with 15 points. And they concluded after reviewing thousands of businesses, this was at the time we were still a part of Citigroup, there was only one company that met all 15, and that was Primerica. And that's true still today. Grant Cardone, he recognizes the value in Primerica because we do what's right. He gave us a shout out when he was tweeting back in the days, right? And then last thing, I'll end with this. Bradley, you can follow him. He has a lot. He has a lot of good information on his IG page. But he talks about, he was interviewing someone. So check this out.
What do you sell, Will?
I work for Primerica now, so I just
did you?
Insurance and
You're about to get rich.
Hopefully, that's the plan.
Not hopefully, dude. What do you mean hopefully?
You know that the financial industry makes more millionaires than any other business in the world?
Yes, sir.
You're more likely to be rich some bitch in the financial business than any other business. And you said, hopefully. Dude, it's all about up here. Do you or do you not think you can do it? If the answer is, well, yes, I can. Well, then, dude, the answer is yes, I'm getting rich right now. It's a fact. If you start to say, hopefully, that's what I've been told, that's what they say. There's people that are doing it. I know that. I'm not necessarily certain I can do it, but it is possible. Why not you? You go out there and kick ass and knock on 1 million doors and you offer 1 million people Primerica services. Yes, you're going to get doors slammed in your face. Yes, you're going to get friends that don't want to be your friend anymore because you're in some sort of scam. Oh, you're in one of those, you douchebag. Oh, come on, Will. You went and got involved in one of those. You're going to get all that. But guess what? I know people in Primerica that are multimillionaires from Primerica. You think they let that bother them? You think they didn't get any of it? You can do it. Everybody here could. And end up making millions of dollars. It's not difficult. What's difficult is listening to all the negative shit and not letting it affect your brain. When someone says you're about to get rich and you say, hopefully, you're never going to outperform your own self-image. So you have to make sure that self-image is bigger than it is today. You have to think you're better than you were yesterday.
I'll end with that, guys. I just hope you know that you're at the right place at the right time. We have the right backing. We're the truth tellers, and the industry won't change. They're not going to change. So we just have to get better, get better, get tougher skin, and keep talking to people. So, Coach, back to you.
Errol, that was spectacular. Can you send me that last video? I want to send it to my grandsons.
Yes, sir.
Last one. Wow. Errol, you knocked it out of the park.
Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know. You need to go on another cruise because I can't imagine what you'd be like when you came back. All right. Thank you very much, Errol. Now we have Keenan Tennyson. And Keenan is going to be talking about promises. The Bible has over 7,400 promises in it. And the Bible is a legal document where God contracted with his people. They call that a covenant. And so God promises us, if we believe in him and worship him, all these things are going to happen to us. And because people need to hear promises. And so I asked Keenan to put together promises that we need to make a new recruit. So Keenan, take it over.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Bill. Thanks for having me on. You gave me the assignment of the promises from A.L. Williams, Primerica. I Googled it, Bill, and they gave me some. There were 7,487 promises in the Bible, right? So I Googled the A.L. Williams promises to its agents, field force, and distributors. Number one, we give you the best products in our industry to sell to your clients. The best. Number two, we don't sell by using pressure, tricks, or gimmicks. Number three, we make our clients feel comfortable. Why? We don't sell in the first interview. We don't talk down to people to make them feel inferior. Number four, we give you a company with a philosophy. This is why a Dan Gunas is still on the phone. This is why a Bill Orender is still on the phone, because these promises are true. That's why Bob's still here. That's why I'm here. Number five, we sell term insurance 100% of the time. We don't offer nothing else. What you see is what you get. Everybody here that's in this business own their policy if they have insurance from us. Well, at least they should. Number six, we give you a positive, enthusiastic, and exciting company. This is exciting. Number 7, we give you the best part-time opportunity in America. Think about it. Don't quit your job. Not yet. This is part-time. You cannot go work for another company part-time. Another insurance company. They want you to get them 450, 500 names. They'll give you a salary while you, some upfront money while you're going. But when you start writing those policies, they're going to deduct that money from your money. And then 9 times out of 10, they get rid of you. You will feel good about the job you do for people. As a pastor, guys, I can talk to anybody and feel good. You know why? I'm not taking advantage of people. I sleep well at night. I can see people there in church and still have a good time because we get to deliver death claims. I've delivered a couple of them. No, we do what's right. No, number 10, we will give you hope and opportunity again, a chance to dream again. You know how many people have lost their dreams? They're dusted and put back on the shelf. We give you that. Look here. We give you a chance to own your own business, the American dream. There's some additionals. We will never hold anybody back. We will never deny anybody an earned promotion. You can pass up and earn more money than those over you when you join LWIM. See, that kills the pyramid scheme. I can make more money than Rod Logan when he recruited me. I can make more money than Bill Orender right now, and he's a multi-millionaire. It's not limited. Think about this. Think about this. We will help you and be there when you need us. You won't be alone. We are a team. I am Rod Logan's replacement. If I call him now, he'll still take my call. Y'all, do you understand how powerful that is in business? We will never ask you to slow down. We will give you everything you need to win. We will never embarrass you when it comes to dealing with the consumer. We will always do what's right for the consumer. We won't wait for you either. You know what recruited me, Bill Orender, Coach? Rod Logan always acted like he was busy when he saw me. He never waited around for me, man. He didn't care. I stood him up 3 times, booked 3 appointments, and didn't show. But I was his replacement when I got started. You don't know who's going to do it. You just got to keep doing it. And quit waiting around on people. We don't beg. I did a meeting the other day. He said, man, you didn't call me Thursday. I said, you were supposed to call me. Neither here nor there. We missed the appointment. We can meet now. I drove over there to the old office, Bill, because I was in the area. Supposed to meet him right there at the windows. He used to meet up with us all the time up right there on Midway at 635. It's 12:30. I said, man, where you at? He said, well, I'm letting you see what it feel like since you didn't come yesterday. I said, you don't even let me feel like nothing. You don't even come. I'm not even talking to you. I got the cookie. And what we're doing, we won't quit on you. Now, you may quit on yourself, but we won't quit on you. How many of us have quit before and still on the call? Bill never quit. Tell the new people, our goal is to get you 3 recruits and 3 sales in the first week. When I get through with a meeting, Bob, I don't ask for names for insurance clients. I say, give me 3 people you know that are serious about making money. Your 3 best friends. This week alone, I got 40 new names from presentations. What were you doing? You were half getting the names when you was at the meeting. Get the names, man. You know, we talk about we draw the circles, right? Who the first 3 people you think about when it comes to joining the business? They give me the names. Okay, what's their phone number? And I go on with my meeting. Dan, I done got 3 names, whether they do it or not. I tell them we'll get you 100 people in 6 months. If you do what I tell you to do. Y'all, guess what? That's what Rod told me. Player, if you do what I tell you to do, you're going to win it. And I did it. And he did his part. See, I did my part. He did his part, and the company did their part. So we got a triple win for all of us. When Rod told me that, he recruited 4 people for me, Bill, and wrote $8,500 in premium. He made some money training me. Well, when I got my license the next 2 days, when my license hit, I made $6,000 in 2 days without him. You remember when I brought on them insurance policies in there? Everybody asked, is these real? Who is this guy? Bill was giving away money. He ain't getting no money like that away no more, Dan. Dan, he stopped giving the money away. He won't get no more money. What? Because they said, if you do this, I'm going to do this, you'll have that. Ain't that what we're supposed to tell them? There are promises, y'all, we got to make. We got to remind people why we're here. You know what you need to do also on them old people that ain't doing nothing? Call back and remind them, hey, you remember you said you wanted to live like this. Mm-hmm. What changed? Hey, you remember you said you need an extra $2,000 a month. What did you do to get it? Remind people. I'm in class every Saturday morning, 6 o'clock with ladies, reminding them what God said about them. I'm in class every Sunday morning at 7 for men, reminding them what God said about them. Every day that ends in a while, I'm teaching the Bible study, just reminding people what God said about them. And every time we on a conference call, every time we had a convention, every time we had a fast start school, every time we're doing anything, we are reminding you of the promises, not only that the company makes, we're reminding you of what you said you wanted. And then ask you what happened. What happened to what you said you wanted? The company's still here. I'm still here. Where are you?
Mm-hmm.
Bill, that's all I got.
Oh, Keenan, that was a home run. And again, I love the promises we make. And the biggest promise we make is, I'm not going to wait for you. Yeah, I got to move on. This is going to be great, and I want you in on this, but I'm not going to wait for you. Thank you very much, Keenan. And now we have Rod Logan. Rod Logan is going to be talking about the great wealth transfer, and there's no better leader than Rod Logan. So, Rod, why should we be excited about the great wealth transfer?
Well, good morning, Coach. Good morning, teammates. Man, I tell you, is this really a blessing to be able to be on the call and to be able to share. And I am just so full right now because Dan killed it. Arrow came and took us back to the future. Man, and then Keenan just kind of talked about the promises. And I tell you, it's just really, really amazing, you know. And then you talked about the crusade and the life insurance, and it's just like, you know, it's like being in the right place at the right time. Just to kind of piggyback on what Earl said, you know, I mean, we are literally in the right place at the right time on so many different fronts. But here's the challenge, Bill. If we're not doing the right thing, then it becomes a waste of time. And so, you know, it's good to be in the right place at the right time, but you have to do the right thing within that time so it won't be a waste of time. So you asked me to talk about the Great Wall of Wealth, and this is something that you talked about years ago. You saw this coming years ago. And I remember being, in the base shop in the meeting, and you called it initially the financial tsunami. And he said, it's coming. You know, you got the baby boomers, they're getting ready to turn 65 and, you know, a few more years. And then all this money is going to be transferring, moving. They're going to be dying off and the money's going to be transferring. You got to get ready. Got to get ready. In fact, you had a T-shirt that said, friends should not let friends go through life without a securities license. So you saw this coming. So now we're here. And so what Primerica has done, and of course, you know, because we had that big tsunami that wiped out a lot of people, we had to change the language. And so now you called it the Wall of Wealth. And so the Wall of Wealth is happening right now. And again, not to take away from our our insurance crusade, because that is probably the number one. I mean, that's the foundation. None of this matters if people are not properly insured. But what's happening right now I mean, the great wall of wealth is happening right now. And so what Primerica has done, they have kind of leaned into it, and they've created some resources for us to use, because now they realize now that, this could be a great recruiting mechanism. One of the things I learned about Primerica over the years, Bill, is that there are many doors into Primerica. There's many doors. And so some people may come just for the camaraderie. They just like to be around positive people, and that's fine. We welcome them in. Some people come because they just really fired up about life insurance, and they want to help people make sure that they're properly protected, and they just fired up about life insurance, and they embrace that crusade, and we say welcome in. But then you have other people who just said, you know what, I'm just really passionate about getting people out of debt. I mean, that's my number. I mean, I think God has put me on the planet to help people get out of debt. And so we welcome those people in as well. But then you have some people, Bill, who's like, you know what? Something about investment, something about securities just really just lights my fire. And so, fortunately, Primerica has a door that we can welcome them into. See, everybody has different buttons. And so what I'm about to share is more on the security side, but I'm not casting shade, or I'm not belittling, the insurance crusade or the other crusades. This is just another one that you can put in your tool belt, because everybody has different buttons. And so when you're talking to a person, you can kind of feel, where their interests are, and you be able to give them something that can move them to take action. So what Primerica has done, as far as the Wall of Wealth is concerned, they created a website. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's called thewallofwealth.com. And it doesn't have Primerica in the name, but it's called thewallofwealth.com. And and on that website, there's some videos. And in fact, I want to share, share that video, and how you can use that video as a way to recruit people. In fact, I've used that several times, and I got three people who've gotten their license, or not their investment license, but they started out on the process, and they have their they have their insurance license now, and they're getting ready to start preparing for the securities license. So if you don't mind, Coach, I'm going to take a few minutes and kind of share that video. It's about 5 or 6 minutes, but I think it's very, very good. So let me, so if I go to share, see if I can do this. And let's see. I'm going to go share. Hold on. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see this or not, but this is the website called The Wall of Wealth. Again, there's $90 trillion of generational wealth that's moving. It's not about to happening, or it's not about to happen. It is happening right now. Okay, and so I'm going to share this video. When you go to this website, there's a video here, and I'm just going to go ahead and let it run, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
At the end of World War II, a new generation was born. The baby boomers would eventually change the world and accumulate personal wealth at levels never before seen. Fast forward to today, that generation's wealth has now grown to more than $90 trillion. And the vast majority of this money will be inherited by Gen X and millennials. This phenomenon is something we call the Wall of Wealth.
Wealthy people have a plan. They have advisors. They have resources. Middle-income families right now are overwhelmed. They need a path forward, and that's what we provide.
People are handing down money without money mindset. They're giving wealth and resources without financial education. And when that happens, the wealth can disappear much faster than it took to make it.
There's a lot of money changing hands right now, and most people don't feel prepared to handle it. That's where we come in.
As exciting as this story is, far too many of these wealth transfers could be mishandled. A study found that 70% of inherited wealth could be squandered by the end of the second generation. How could this possibly happen? It's simple. Most people lack a sound financial education. But it's not their fault. Very few students learn about money in school. At Primerica, we believe that everyone should have a financial education, and it should be available for free. This is the cornerstone of everything we believe in and everything we do to help consumers.
The path to financial independence always starts with a strong financial education.
It's not about being smarter, it's about access to education. Once people understand the basics of handling their finances, everything changes.
Financial literacy equals economic empowerment, and that's what protects the value of an inheritance for future generations.
At Primerica, we offer concepts and products that have a real, lasting ability to make an impact on people's lives, and at the same time, create an opportunity for you to change your family's financial future.
It's been said in business, the bigger the problem you solve in the marketplace, the greater the reward. And our business is a great example of that, in that the more families you help, the greater level of success for you and your family.
Everybody wants to be financially independent. Everybody wants to be debt-free. Everybody wants to be properly protected. What a great business to be in, that we can deliver the products that people need, and it's the products that people need right now.
It's a ready-made market. It's about helping the families that already know they need our help.
I realized by helping other families change their financial future, it was going to allow me to change the financial future for my family.
Primerica's business model is unique in that it creates an opportunity for you to build a business for yourself, but not by yourself. While the number of traditional securities licensed reps is shrinking, our company creates an environment where entrepreneurs can thrive by meeting the growing demands in today's marketplace.
Most financial professionals are now in their 60s and looking to retire, which creates an enormous opportunity for our company, and we've been preparing for this for the last 50 years.
It's unfortunate that with this incredibly high demand for assistance, that a lot of the senior advisors in our industry are leaving and retiring. That creates a great opportunity for us.
The wall of wealth is real. It's happening right now, and it represents a unique opportunity to help others in your community while at the same time building a business to benefit you and your family.
Doctors make great money helping people with their health challenges. Attorneys make great money helping people with their legal challenges. Imagine building a business helping people with one of the most important things in their life, with their finances.
Our company's mission is to serve middle-income families. And I quickly realized in order to turn that mission into a movement, I had to build a team.
As one person, I can help a few families, but by building a team, we can help hundreds, maybe even thousands.
Most people have no idea this kind of opportunity even exists. And we're not just in a growing market, we're leading it.
Imagine building a business where the clients are already there, the demand is massive, and all you have to do is take the first step to help families get on the path to a secure financial future.
Wow, this is probably one of the best videos I've seen that the company has prepared, because it identifies it clearly identifies the money that is moving. It talks about the need to help educate people so they don't squander that wealth away, but then they back it up, or they conclude it with the business opportunity. Because it's great to have, as Joe Ward said, like, you by yourself can help several families, but you and your team can help hundreds of families. So, this is a great video. I think that really captures the essence of Primerica in terms of what we offer, at least in that space, as far as, the investment space, but then also from an opportunity standpoint as well. And so this, how I use this, Coach, is that I say, particularly people who are, who I've known for years and they wasn't really interested. And I think, early on when I first approached them, it was more geared on insurance and building a business, which is still critical, but that didn't move them. And so my conversation to them is simply, hey, listen, have you heard about what's happening? No, right? What's that? I said, man, there's $90 trillion moving from generation to generation. You need to get in on this. They're like, really? I said, man, our company is looking for people who we can train and get licensed to help people move this money. And you can do it remotely. I know you're getting close to retirement age, but this is something that you can do that doesn't take a whole lot of effort, and you can control your own time. And there's like, okay, well, send me the video. And I send them the video, say, take a listen to, watch this video. I'm gonna send you this website, watch the video, and let me know what you think. And several people said, man, you know what, this is right on time. I was looking to do something else. I'm getting close to retirement, or I need to do something else, or I'm getting ready to switch jobs. I'm interested. How can I move forward? And so, because it does all the heavy lifting for you. Now, of course, of course, you got to lay out the process and what they need to do. They have to get the insurance license and so forth and so on. But that's another avenue, another lane that you can use to build your business, to get people on your team, to start building out your distribution and getting them in a situation, at least kind of introducing them to the mindset of not just being a financial advisor, but they can build an agency, they can build a franchise, they can build a brokerage around serving people. And so I just think that this is just a tremendous tool that we can have in our tool belt, to add to what we're already doing. And you can use it at your discretion. But I say now, this is a great time. Now, the challenge, coach, is that there's people on the call who don't have their securities license. And so it's going to be kind of hard for you to use this if you're not securities licensed. Now you can use it, but your conviction, and your passion may not be there. That's like, you trying to, encourage me to join a gym. Say, Rod, this is a brand new gym that's opening up, man. They got all the equipment to help. You got personal trainers there. They got a swimming pool, sauna. I mean, they got all the latest equipment. You can really get yourself in shape, But if you hadn't joined the gym, it's going to be hard for you to kind of talk to me about it. And so I want to encourage people who are not securities licensed, coach, and I'm finished with this. Make sure you get your securities license. Now, I know it's difficult and I know it's hard. Because it's very, it's time consuming. It's going to take some sacrifice. It's going to take a commitment, dedication to get that license. I know that can be hard. But then it's also going to be hard for you to watch all this money transfer hands and you're not going to be able to do anything about it. That's also hard. But here's the good news, coach. We get an opportunity to choose our hard. Which hard do you want? Do you want the hard part of studying for the test? And prepping for the test? Or do you want the hard part of watching all this money change hands and you not being able to participate in any of it? So you get a chance to choose your hard. I recommend that you choose the hard that's going to have some benefits at the end. So again, if you don't have your license, I encourage you to go ahead and just take the step, make the decision and make that happen and really position yourself so you can take advantage of what's happening. I mean, this is as Errol said, we're in the right place at the right time, but it's important, it's imperative for us to do the right thing in order to maximize the moment. That's all I got, coach.
You did a great job. I didn't know about the wallwealth.com. I don't know why we've not heard about it, but we didn't. Anyway, you don't have to be securities licensed to recruit.
That's right.
You don't have to be securities licensed to talk to people about the great wealth transfer. You don't. So I want everyone to Google, after we leave here today, the great wealth transfer and read up on it. And then have a friend read up on it and say, I want your opinion on this, right? I had several people take a picture of the Google page and text it out to people and recruited people. Say, call me on this. So, Rod, thank you very much. People have no idea how good it's going to be. All right, Rod, thank you very much. And we have John Rogers. John, we're going to talk about making an extra $1,000 a month, the third pillar. But you're going to put another people make an extra $1,000 a month. John Rogers.
Yes, thank you, sir. Am I good? Am I? Are we? Am I?
Yeah,
I'm good. All right, I think we're skipping a little bit. I want to make sure it wasn't my T-Mobile. Good morning to y'all. The goal of so Bill's asked me to talk about making an extra $1,000 a month. Put a little bit of twist on it, and I'm gonna put a twist on the twist, Coach. The three spots that we're talking about today is first of all, I'm really talking to the part-timers first. These are the people that are like, you got your full-time job, you're just here making extra money, an extra $1,000 a month, right? Then I'm talking to that person that I don't need much. You know, the person that's like, well, I don't need millions and millions of dollars. I want to show you what that would look like, and then ending that with generational wealth. So I'm gonna hop right into it because I'm gonna have to go. What do we say? Listen fast. So let me share my screen with y'all real quick, and if I can get my life together real quick. All right, perfect. Y'all can see my screen, right? Yes, yes, no, maybe so.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So just with an extra $1,000. So we're going to do like somewhat of a case study because I think it's important. And I don't know, we hadn't talked about this a ton, but looking at, okay, what is I don't know if everyone in here knows what their financial independence number is. That's one of the first things Huffman taught us. If you don't build some mega business, get blessed and build some mega business, what is the amount of money you need to be able to retire at the day that you want, okay? And that money lasts you until you pass away. So we're going to use John Doe here as our example of a part-timer, what it looks like to hit the FIN number, Tony, with an extra $1,000 a month. So John Doe is 25 years old, he's a male, right? He wants to retire at age 65. So that's 40 years from the age he is. All righty. John Doe is making about a little over 50 grand a year, $4,700 a month. This is about the average some kind of way in America. I feel like a lot of times people are making less than that, but he's making $4,700 a month right now. He wants to retire on all of that. All right. Let's learn something real quick too, because I don't know, put in the chat, and you maybe some of y'all already knew this when y'all first got into business, that if I need $4,000 lifestyle today, it's going to cost me way more. I'm going to have to bring in way more money than that in 30 years to live a lifestyle that $4,000 provides today. Put in the chat if you knew that, yes or no. If you knew that if you wanted to retire in 30 years, you would need to be bringing in $15,000 a month to provide you the lifestyle that $4,700 would give you today. Why? Because your burger is not going to be $2 anymore, Brandon. It may be like 10 or $15. The movie tickets, all that stuff is not going to be the same price that it is today. So you got to be bringing in more money than you're making right now in order to provide the lifestyle in the future that you want to live current to today. So John Doe's financial independence number is $3.2 million. That means he needs $3.2 million saved in the next 40 years, Camille, and that will provide him a chance to not have to end up going back to Walmart or going to Walmart, telling people, checking receipts and all that stuff. So what's the blessing of this business? Well, in order for him to do this, he's got to save some money. And so what Coach was talking about was, let's put a spin on it. What if a person never quit their full-time job? They came into Primerica, they got their license, they did everything they were supposed to do, Gael, and they just made an extra $1,000 a month on top of what they're making at their full-time job. When my first year into this business, that's about what I made, about $1,100 a month part-time. Not on Zoom. This was back before COVID and all that stuff, driving around, right? So being able to do that even on Zoom is a huge blessing. But John's got to get to $3.2 million, Enoch. So let's say he didn't work in the business for the next 30 years through retirement. He just did this for 5 years. An extra $1,000 a month for the next 5 years, Rod. Not like kicking butt, not, hey, I'm changing my life around. I'm just going to help 2 clients a month for the next 5 years of my life. Probably not a lot of work. Y'all, if y'all want to know what this calculator is called, EZ calculator, letter E, letter Z calculator, and it pulls up 60,000 calculators. One of them is compound interest calculator. This is not a Primerica tool. You can go get it on your Google Play Store or whatever, if you have an iPhone, the App Store. So what does this say? Investing $1,000 a month that he made from his Primerica business for the next 5 years at age 30 because he's 25. That'd be $84,000, $84,303.06. So he stops. He's done. He's like, okay, I'm done with Primerica. It was amazing. I learned some stuff, got my term insurance. I'm now investing different, so doing all the great things. He just stops and he leaves that $84,000 in that investment account to just grow. Doesn't touch it, just lets it go. Right, Tony? That $84,000 turns into, in 30 years, $3,030,662. Let me repeat that. He worked for 5 years. He invested every penny that he earned from Primerica for $1,000 a month, helping 2 clients a month, right? For $1,000 on a district contract. And he didn't do anything after that 5 years, Bob. He just let the money sit for another 30. So if y'all are doing the math right now, he is 5 years before his actual retirement date for his FIN number is 65. He's at 60 years old right now, but he's also 200,000 short of his FIN number. Well, what is the average 401k for a 60 to 64-year-old, 65? Well, 246,000. So he's kept his full-time job, y'all. Then this is for y'all that don't. You're not hurting. There's people in here that, there's some things happen, but you're not hurting for money. You're not the paycheck to paycheck, robbing Peter to pay Paul, like Camille's story and some of the things that we've had where we don't know if our card is going to work. This is for y'all that are keeping your full-time job, but you're just trying to have extra money. Well, that's 246,000 added to what he had, the 3 million. So he's got his FIN number, his financial independence number. My wife doesn't like when I say FIN number. She said that's redundant because the N stands for number. It's his FIN, financial independence number, right? It's like saying the ATM machine. That's 3.2 million, Cynthia, at age 60. But wait, there's more. If he waits that 5 more years, now he's got $5.5 million. Okay. So y'all that are part-time, tell me, say simple or hard in the chat. How simple or hard would it be to just for the next 5 years help 2 clients a month, Mary, and you save every dime if you're part-time and invest it, and you let that sit if you're 25 years old, 30 years old for the next 30 years of your life? Is that simple or hard to do? I would venture to guess it's pretty simple. Okay, so if that's you, awesome. Let's go to this last set of people that we're talking about, and it's probably a lot of the newer ones. Once your mind gets stretched out, you start hanging around people like Bill Orender and Frank Joyce and Cynthia Greer and Cynthia and Roy Greer and all these people that are going to take your mind and stretch it. It's hard for you to say I don't need much anymore because you realize what blessing you can be for someone by you going for more. But let's talk to the people that don't need much. So let's say John, he's got his 5.5 million at age 65. And this blew me away, Gaia. I'm so thankful for this business and stretching my mind on just the thoughts of the next generations that outlive us. Alfredo, John Doe is 65 right now, right? With $5.5 million, he decides, I don't need all of that. I just needed my FIN number. I needed my $3 million or whatever, my 3.2 million. So let's say John has a son named James. James is 35 years old now. John's 65. James is 35. Watch this work, Jomo. John sets aside $2 million for James. Okay. John lives on the other 3.5 at 65. 30 years later, if John is still blessed to be alive, John is 95 years old. Are y'all tracking with me right now? We can get lost in the sauce real easy, Daryl. We still tracking? So John's 95, if he's still alive. James is now 65. You got it, Sharice? That $2 million that was set aside for James 30 years ago has now compounded into $71,899,282. James has a daughter named Ashley. who is 35 now. How old is James? He's 65, Jason. Ashley's 35. James takes 10 million of the 71 million at 65 and lives his best life, Daryl. Right? He might not even be able to buy a house at this point because this is some years. We're talking about inflation, right? But let's just keep it simple. He takes 10 million. He leaves the other 61 million behind, Arissa, for his daughter, Ashley. 30 years later, John's gone, right? In the Bible, the Old Testament, so we ain't living that long anymore. John's gone. James is maybe 95. Ashley is 65. We still tracking? Manny. Ashley's son Tom is 35. Y'all $61 million here 30 years later has now compounded. I had to put billion there because sometimes, if y'all want to have fun with some people, start asking them to read numbers that has 3 commas in it. They haven't said that since I don't know when in school. And then people say like $2,000, no, 200,000. 200,000, 2 million, and it's just hard for folks. Y'all, Tom and the generations, this gives me chill bumps, Deborah. That's my mom's name, by the way. We got an amazing name. The generations are changed forever, Jamie. All from what, y'all? From John making an extra $1,000 a month. You do not know what you have been blessed with when it comes to this business. Yes, you can go build a mega business, but sometimes if we try to be, now realistic is a cuss word in my house, but I'm gonna say it because no one's listening. But if we were being realistic and someone just made an extra $1,000 a month for the next 5 years, do y'all see what that will compound into generations after you have passed? Put in the chat and tell me as we wrap up, do y'all know who your great, great, great grandfather or grandmother is? Yes or no? Put in the chat. I should be probably see a lot of no's. Somebody said, yeah, that's amazing. Now, let's put in the chat too. If they left you $2.2 billion, right, do you think you would know who your great, great, great grandpa or grandma was? Right. So if we're serious about, making our generations wealthy because we don't necessarily need it, even if you don't have anything that you can leave that behind to, you can will it to churches, you can give it to the money's on whatever you want to do. Foundations, become a philanthropist, it doesn't matter. Whatever God puts in your heart, now you have the funds to do it. And if you're a realistic person, Tim, well, then just do it with an extra $1,000 a month. Maybe you can't see yourself going and making 4 or 5 or 600,000 or $1 million a year like everyone can here. But you do it with an extra $1,000 a month, and you allow that to compound into something that changes the generations from your family and your family's family. And I promise you, they're going to be happy that you just decided to do this thing part-time for 5 years because you changed the generations. Coach, hopefully that landed. I'm about a minute early, but that's what I got.
John, can you hear me?
I can.
That was, I lost video, but that was stupendous. And not the last time I heard that word. Wow. It's exactly what I wanted you to do. And that last part, my gosh, you can set up your family for the rest of their lives and their family's lives and their family life just by working here part-time, making $1,000 a month for 5 years if you do it right. John, what's the biggest lesson you got out of that, John?
I think too small. I think way too small. I have to think way bigger. I mean, even typing in $2 billion was it, I had to literally be like, this is what we have. This is the biggest lesson, is that hard pill to swallow. It doesn't take talent. Whenever we ask people, well, what's keeping a person from generational wealth and freedom and knowing how compound interest works or changing their family, a lot of people say knowledge, coach. That's the number one thing I ask people. What's happening? What's keeping you from getting this? Knowledge. I don't know where to go. It's not the knowledge, because we now have the knowledge. That's it. They've done a whole great job today on the knowledge. Now it's just putting that knowledge to application. Yeah, I'm supposed to be going to the TCU game with Josh Huff, and somebody put TCU in there. I got my TCU hat on, so I'm going with Josh. You know, Josh is like a 73-year-old, 18-year-old man, so I got to buckle up. You're on mute, coach. If you're muted.
That was spectacular. Excuse me, I'm gonna have to. I keep losing my internet. Anyway, thank you very much, John. Spectacular. Tony, we're in a rush. You got about 9 minutes to do your part. And remember, what Tony's about to show you was Art's chosen method of distribution system. Remember when Errol showed? It's a distribution company that looks like insurance. So Tony, show us Art's chosen method. When he saw this, something snapped in him. Tony, what did he see?
Coach, what he saw was the compounding and the multiples. And we say the multiples with a capital M because it is that significant. And folks, if you're like, how do I not see what John sees? Because you mentally cannot connect compounding and compounding interest and multiples without drawing it out. Folks, this is a penny that doubles its worth every day. I'm going to do this really fast because I'm just going to look at, not surprising on the 7th. Okay, we're good. We're 64 cents. Woohoo! And then if you look at the second week, you have just like $82. And then the third week, you have about $10,000. I don't know about you, but I was like, wait, a penny, 10,000. That's just surprising. But folks, look at this. Boring, boring, boring. Boom. What, 1.3? Now you're done with the month? Folks, that's 10.7 million, not billion, million off of a what? A penny. And here's what I want you to note. First week, boring. Second week, really trying to question my life decisions. Third week, okay, looking a little bit better. Fourth week, you're like, what? What? And then by the end of the month, you're like, boom, chakalaka, I'm a genius like John Rogers, right? Why do I show this? Because folks, what if it's not just pennies? What if I take you, Jennifer, and I get you 3 people? And then I get those 3 people, they're 3 people. It's called a senior rep promotion. By the way, you get 3 recruits, you become a senior rep, you get a little bit higher commission. And I want to take those 3 people, those 9 people, and give them their 3 people. And I want to get those 27 people and give them their 3 people. Folks, we've seen this, but have you? It's not about seeing it, it's about feeling it. Do you understand what you have in your hands? Because psychologically, folks, unless you're someone like Albert Einstein or like a Nick Jackson or a John Rogers or a Bill Orender, you're not going to be smart enough to see this until you write it out. Have you ever written out your circles? Have you ever written out your circles? That's an honest question, folks. Do it. Oh, Tony, no, just do it. 3 who get 3 who get 3, and then count it. Do it every day. Because this is the system that all of those people have worked so hard to get to you, to get for you. So what is your mission? Your mission is promote your recruit to a senior rep. You put, Holton, your name is here for me. I already have a circle chart for you. My goal right now, Holton just signed on about 2 days ago. My goal is to get him how many? 3. Only 3. We all know at least 3. And then what's my job is to get those 3, their 3. I'm going to do a circle chart for each of those 3. And now we're going to get you 9. Now Holton has 13 people on his team. And then what's my job? I make a circle chart for those 9. And now we got 27. Do you see, like, you just keep building the circle charts. Holton, that's your name right there. And above you, Holton, is Sandra. Before you is Jennifer. Before you is Rocky. Folks, this is what we do. And then we get those 27 to 3. Folks, this is 81 people For who? This is 81. This is 121 people with Holton. This is 121 people for Camille. This is 121 people for Jamie. This is 121 people for Dan Good. This is 121 people to do what? To do what we just learned. To do the wall of wealth, to talk about mutual funds, to do the life insurance, to get the $1,000 a month, to do all that you've learned today goes through these circles. This is the distribution plan that guy was talking about in Errol's video. This is the distribution plan that literally Citigroup paid Art Williams in the 90s $1 billion cash. And this is the distribution method you have now. This is the system you can use now. So what do? You find one person and you drive them to levels. Get them their 3 and get those 3. That's all you got to do. But what happens? Mary, Alan, Frank get their own circles and you take it 2 levels deep. And then Katie, Ann, Bill, Bob, Terry, all those people, and you just keep building and filling out the circle charts. This is what we do. If you're brand new, like Brittany, I love your comments, by the way. You're going to be an absolute superstar if you stick around long enough to do this, if you follow the people that brought you here, which I think you will very well. This is what's going to happen with Brittany. Not because Brittany did it, because her field trainer did it for her. And if you've been in this business for a minute and you're like, Tony, you do it. Go find one person and give them the gift that was given to you. That's what this is all about. Because the challenge is this, folks. Every day your goal is to add another person to your business. You want to know what your to-do list is every day? Go look at your circle charts. Find someone that's missing a 3. Add one name to the chart every day. Recruit, rescue someone every day. Every person in your team wants to grow, make money, build a business. All they need is leadership. Call everyone every morning and ask them, if you want, I'll work for you today, or I'm going to work for somebody else. As he said in the beginning with Keenan, you have the goodies. It's up to those who want it to take it from you. Get names and contacts and go to work adding names to your charts. It's so easy, folks. Just put names to charts. It's not that hard. You just got to do it. And so this is what we do for you. And then you do for others. And at the end, every one of those signals is an RVP who has RVPs, who have RVPs, that have RVPs, and you'll have the life and the lifestyle and the freedom. Do you understand that this is you? You no longer have to look at your bank account. I want you to get real with that, folks. Think about that. You never have to worry about what's in your bank account. You never have to worry what's going to happen when you get the call. You're never going to have to worry, Jamie, when someone needs you to step up because you love them and they needed you. Folks, commit to the system and the system will take care of you. Deny the system, you'll regret. You will 100% regret. You have an opportunity, folks. What's the biggest lie that devil gives us? You have enough time, Johanny. You have more time, Charisse. Don't worry about it, Dominique. You got all the time. You do not have time. You will get the call, Gail. Be ready for it. Do it now. Set your system up. Do the generational wealth that John just taught us. Climb on that wave of wealth that Rod Logan showed us. Go rescue the families from GoFundMe by building an army and using the system. Coach, that's what I got for today.
Wow. That's the system I use and all of us have used to become multimillionaires. And Camille, you'd be double dumb if you didn't use it. And it's free, and you're not having to buy the franchise. All right, we have James on. Is James on?
Not yet, Coach. I'm looking for him, sir. Unless he is and we don't know it. If you are James, you got to raise your hand because I don't see you.
Well, Cynthia, what'd you get out of today? I mean, you're number one on this whole team in the premium and recruits and income. What'd you get out of today, and especially John Rogers?
Oh, my goodness, Coach. Just watching John show that it was just mind blown that if someone would make an extra $1,000 a month and they don't need it and they just invest it and they do that for 5 years, they turn their family, they never put another dime into it and just let it sit there and grow, that they set up their family for generations, generational wealth. I'm like, I'm doing $1,000 a month for the next 5 years. I may not be 30 something, but I could set up my grandkids. But my children's children leaving a legacy that lives long after I'm gone. Y'all, if we don't grab hold of that, oh, that's not me. It better be you. Do you care about your families? See, that just blew my mind. That blew my mind. Earl's presentation blew my mind. Wow. Right? Rod Logan's presentation blew my mind. I mean, everybody, I'm like, send me this. Send me this. I gotta watch this again. I gotta show this. Because and I bet most people said, "Oh, that was good." I'm like, John, send me that. Hey, I'm texting. Hey, y'all, send me that because you can't catch this one time. If you think you're going to get this right now and you're going to go away, you got to see it again and again. This is recorded. Get this video and you need to watch it and you need to study it and we need to write it out because this is, coach, I don't know where people would be on a Saturday if they're not on the best training in all of the world, not even Primerica. Y'all, I wouldn't be anywhere else on a Saturday. I mean, I'm actually in New York, coach. I've been at a conference, fired up, spiritually, but I'm telling you, I'm fired up about my daggum life here. Because they say you could be heavenly minded and be no earthly good, but I still got to live down here. And while we got to live down here, we got to make sure that we're doing generational business. And this is what we had this morning. This is it. And I just want to give kudos and I want to recognize my team. I want to say thank you to the team because you can't beat a team will beat one person, but one person can't beat a team. It's pretty hard. So I want to thank all the team that rallied and coach, we did in 3 days what we didn't do all month. We did in 3 days what we didn't do all month. Why? Because the team rallied. They tell me when the coach believes in the team, it's awesome. But when the team believes in the coach, magic happens. And we saw magic happen because we sold out to the proven system of what Tony just showed us. Three to get three to get three. Brand new people in 6 days got their 3x3 in 6 days. Why? Because they're helping families. I heard somebody say, you don't count the spouse. I'm sorry, I'm going to count my spouse in this thing. Because when I get free, they got to get free too, but they got to come on board to get free with me. Roy, that is him. Yeah, he's on here. So y'all, all I'm saying is we got the best training ever. If we don't take these and get these and relive them, I post them in my Telegram. I'm like, y'all need to watch this. If you don't watch it and you don't take notes and you don't apply it, knowledge is not power. Isn't that right, Professor Bob? It's applied knowledge. It's applied knowledge. Is once we get this knowledge, we got to apply this to our lives. We got to share it. We got to go take that great. I show people that Great Wall of Wealth Google page, coach, and I talk to people about it. And and that's where we were getting. They didn't join me, but they gave me their rollovers.
Well, we got. I hate to interrupt you. We got to get James on.
He's here. That's fine. I'm
Very
ready.
much, Cynthia. Congratulations for being number one. Thank you for your energy. And James, we've got James Watkins on now. And James, I'm so thrilled to have you on. You're a special guest for us on a Saturday. $400,000+ earner, James Watkins. James.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Hey, I appreciate you. Cynthia did a phenomenal job. Congratulations on going over 20 by 20. We're going to be recognizing her in P34D at the event coming up to basically as a refounder of Orender 2.0 hierarchy, man. So we're super excited of one of about 3 or 4 people that have qualified for that recognition. So we're excited for you, Cynthia, you and the team. Man, honestly, guys, I was thinking about what I would talk to you about, And man, yesterday, Coach and I, we had conversation, and I was thinking about, why in the heck do I do what I do? And man, we fortunate to have a great team, great coaching, of course, like all of us here with Coach Bill. And I could just go back, man, just to the most point in my life, man. Like Art said, I don't know why I am the way I am. I just always wanted to be somebody. I think, when you go through a point in life, when you go through different things in life and you get exposed to, things that you don't want to have happen enough of, then you have to decide what it is that you do want to have happen. And we are so blessed and fortunate to be in the company that we have. It's like ridiculous. The people that you just get to associate with and you talk to and some of the conversations that you have, and you kind of forget, well, you don't forget, but it just go in the back of your mind like, man, where you come from, right? Coach Bill, I can remember when I first was in his bay shop and moved to Texas, and I'd walk in his office and he'd have that Tiger Wood glove up on the wall, and he had I think an Andrew Luck jersey and all his sports memorabilia and all this stuff like that. And I used to be sitting there, Rod, because you'd be right there with me. I'd be sitting there thinking, man, you know what, man? I mean, that sure would be nice. I mean, Tiger Woods, man. I mean, like he got the glove autograph, and this and that kind of stuff, and all that stuff. And Coach, Bill's. I gotta say this to you. You gave me a hard time about my 49ers after we lost to the Jaguars, but we didn't lose Thursday night. And I said, Coach didn't even call me and he didn't even bring up the 49er game. But the reason why I bring that up is in 2 weeks from this weekend, me and my good friend Olivier Brutus, we take a annual trip. We started this tradition about 3, 4 years ago where, man, we going to the Niners game. Like we go out to San Jose once a year. He just went over 1 million, of course, a few months ago and different things like that. We got these tickets, Rod, in this nice bougie club. Like we spent some real money this year on some tickets. And I thought, man, I remember like yesterday, I was dreaming about just having a Tiger Woods or a Joe Montana jersey, which I got all that stuff. I was thinking about all that sports memorabilia and all that stuff that, I used to dream for. And now that's like just regular everyday part of my life. I mean, I got a Peyton Manning helmet, I got a Montana helmet, all the things that I just grew up loving to do. That I thought, I wondered if it ever happened to me. And because of this company and man, us, deciding to go to work and do what Coach tells us to do, man, that stuff is just like normal. And so you talk about being inspired and being motivated. It's like, man, do you understand? Like sometimes I never forget that they paid me in August, the half the month I was in between the company trip in San Diego and then we went to the US Open, which was an incredible experience. Cliff already offered to teach me lessons, coach, and I'm getting ready to go do some tennis lessons. Okay. I was like, these dudes getting ready to turn me into a tennis player. And I got plans. Me and Patrick, we talked about going to the US Open, Australian Open, the French Open, and Wimbledon, right? Because I bought this hat and it had all four of the majors on the side of it. And a lady came up to me at the US Open and she said, "Hey, why you got my hat on?" I was like, "Well, I was just trying to mimic you. I was trying to be like you." I was joking. She was like, "Do you know what that hat means?" I didn't. It was just a nice looking hat. And she said, each one of those emblems on the side of your hat represents the majors, all four majors. She said, for the last 10 years, I've been to every one.
Mm.
And I thought to myself, wow, that's a new goal. I ain't even know, I didn't know nothing about that. So I told Patrick right then and there at dinner, I said, okay, bro. I said, I got to do that. Patrick was like, I'm going with you. By the time we landed in Dallas, Patrick had already sent me the breakdown, the price, how much it was going to be, to fly there, to eat, to stay there. And when I looked at the budget, I was like, I got that money to do that. I can do that if I want to do that. So it's just like, man, here, the reason why I'm telling you that is I'm not trying to boast and brag and all that kind of stuff. I'm just telling you that everything that you want in your life, everything that you ever want to have happen, you can make that happen here with our company. If you go to work, it's going to be plenty of times, man, that you're going to doubt it. You're going to, wonder if it's right. But that's just all part of the process, man. If you just go do what you say you're going to do, if you go out there and go get what you say you want, you can build an incredible life in our company. And I'm just saying, we just getting started. Like, I didn't even know. If you'd have asked me 3 months ago, you go to all the tennis things. Honestly, right, I grew up, I'd watch football. We watch basketball because you got to be able to have conversation when the playoffs start. You got to be able to have conversation because, I knew some people that was in the NBA and college and all that kind of stuff. When baseball came on, I turned that off. Soccer, turn that off. Golf, turn that off. And tennis. Like, man, that stuff and NASCAR, of course. I didn't watch any of that stuff, but my dad, he watched all of them. And the reason why I never showed any interest, because I didn't grow up playing with people that had an interest in any of those sports. I hadn't been exposed to it. But when you change who you hang around, you change, who you are, you change the things that influences you, and goals change. Like I said, 2, 3 months ago, I had no goal to go to Wimbledon or go to Australian Open and all that stuff. But that's now. I mean, that's changed now because of, this awesome opportunity and being able to hang around, winners, like Coach Bill and, Patrick, Patrick and Jennifer. I had a blast with those guys. It's a whole different level of interest that I didn't realize I had out there. So you change your life. When I had moved here and Coach Bill said to me, man, you just left Muncie, Indiana, this big decision or whatever. You don't realize how big of a decision you just made to change your life. He probably don't remember that, but I remember that because I was just thinking, thank God I'm out of Muncie, man. I got to do something different. But, like everything, guys, it requires work. It just requires focus. It requires you giving your attention. It's never going to change, here. I don't care what prospecting method you go learn. I don't care, what new product we come out with, you got to go through the process of changing who you are in your daily habits, and how many people you contact if you go win here. The great thing is, man, 100% of the people that have decided to go out here and go make their lives change, go change their lives, and to go win for them and their family, they've succeeded. We got 100% success ratio at this company. When you got a chance to go out here and go do what you got to do, man, you just got to take it. It ain't, I wish I could tell you it was a magic pixie dust that you sprinkle on people, man, and all of a sudden they start recruiting and they start going and they start doing, man, it ain't none of that. It's everything that Coach Bill said. I just said on Thursday night or Thursday morning to my full timers, I was like, Coach Bill told me one time, he said, you guys, you think I'm better than you. He said, if I go out and talk to 10 people, if you go out, James, talk to 10 people, how many people you think you recruit? And I think I might have said like one, maybe two. And then whatever number I gave, Coach gave like one more. He's like, I might get one more than you. Maybe. It's not that I'm better than you. It's just the difference is this. If I had to go out here and do say the number was 5,000, you got to do 5,000 appointments to go out here and change your life and become financially independent. The difference between me and you is I'm going to get the 5,000 over with faster than you. And that was an eye-opening conversation there because then I decided then and there, I said, okay, wait a minute. All things being equal, I just got to go through the numbers. I just got to go through the numbers. I got to go out there. I got to go share the story with enthusiasm. I got to go tell, people what we do for people. I got to go out there. I got to go through the recruits, the ones that stay and the ones that go and all other kind of stuff, just like anybody else. I just got to do it faster. And that's what's so exciting about today's business and then today's Primerica is, man, what Coach Bill saw 50 years ago, it's better today than it was yesterday. I got the same chance. He's telling the same story to generation after generation to after generation. And this thing is designed to take care of you and your family for the next 100 years. Every day I heard Cynthia talking about the great wealth transfer in 2027. I recruited a guy yesterday with that, a waiter from, Saltgrass, I just young young married guy, I just got to talking about what the future looked like. Nobody talks like that. I wouldn't have known that if I didn't hang around somebody, thinking like that and with that kind of perspective and had a vehicle to go out here and go do it. So I'm excited, guys, about our future. I'm excited about what we got our hands on. I'm excited. I'm excited about Orender 2.0. That's what I affectionately call getting Coach Bill to $2 million. I mean, he deserves it. He hates every second of me probably talking about it, but I don't care because it ain't just about him, but it's about all of us. In order for him to get to that level, the rest of us have to go to another level too. See, I'm a first generation RVP. And in order for my coach to get what I believe he deserves, which is that sapphire ring, then I got to step up my game and I got to find a bunch of players in my own organization that's going to step up their game to go make this thing happen. I mean, I got to be more, I got to do more, and I got to have more and become more, which means it's going to be even that more phenomenal, for the James Watkins hierarchy and James Watkins family of our future, guys. We got everything at our disposal. I think, and I'll say this, I predict it. Well, I should make about $50,000 this month. 50. Did you hear me? See, in Primerica, you get Primerica ties, you be thinking, oh, 50,000, is that it? Olivier made 122,000 the other. Man, look, do you understand? I used to make $25,000 a year. I made 40 last month. I make 50 this month, right? And it's just the beginning. It's just the beginning to what we have possible for us guys, and we need to go out here and go take advantage of it. So, man, let's go kick some butt. Let's go to work. We got to go talk to more people. Fourth quarter just began. This is the best time to be in business. The next 90
Look at the plan. You talk about about to go.
talking
Look.
about where we're getting ready, talking about what we're going to do going into 2026. So, Coach, I appreciate you. I thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate your leadership. Let's go rock and roll this last quarter of 2025, teammates.
Well, thank you very much, James. Boy, what a go-to person you are becoming. You're becoming a beacon for so many people to follow. That lighthouse that you are, that you're saying with your radiating your light. If it can happen to me, it can happen to you. And thank you very much, James. And $50,000. And what's happening on the 24th, 25th of this month, James?
We got our good friend and my fellow 49er brother, Olivier Brutus, SNSD, 38-year-old former Domino's pizza delivery man making $1.2 million, is coming to Midlothian, Texas, and go be our guest speaker along with his top producer, along with his top RVP, SVP Adeline Thomas, near term getting ready to click over $600,000. She's 34 years old, used to be a manager at the Dollar General store. Haitian lady, decided that, she wanted to be more. Now supports and finances several orphanages back in Haiti, just doing an unbelievable job. These two guys go come and be our guest speakers and come and coach up our teams on the 24th and 25th of October, Coach.
Well, our thought process is taking the Get Bigger Home concept and having a West Coast kind of, right?
Southwest. Yep. Get bigger, go home, Southwest.
This is the beginning of that thought process, right, James?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. We're gonna spread this thing out, and we have Get Bigger, Go Home Southwest, just like Andrea and her team doing Get Bigger, Go Home South.
We're hoping to have that by when, James? By next spring, next fall?
For sure, Coach. By next fall, for sure. We probably have 1,000 people or more plugging into that thing. So yeah,
you got to have 1,000 to make it happen, right?
Yes, sir. So we got to get big.
Or go home, right?
Or go home.
Thank you, James. Thank you very much, James.
All right, Coach. Take care.
You. Tony, we want to celebrate and put that picture up, please. One of our RVPs, he's the 5th generation. He's gone to a 7th diamond. And what that means is he and his family, his wife, are making over $700,000 a year. And he's from Oklahoma, not even in big city of Oklahoma. He's between Dallas and Oklahoma City, a small town, but you don't need a big town if you have big dreams. So Paul and Beth Hayes are great people. They're fifth generations to me, fifth generation. And so, Tony, thank you very much for what you did today. I love your part, and John and Rod Logan and Dan Gunas and Errol. Oh my gosh. And Keenan, congratulations to all you by making this thing superior. And Keenan, what'd you get out of today? Unmute, Keenan.
Hey, we gotta go. Quit making excuses. Have the meetings. Talk to the people. Get going. We got the best thing smoking. The best time is now. No matter what happened yesterday. You know, Coach, when God wakes us up with a new day, yesterday our account is settled. The books are closed on yesterday. He wakes us up every day with 1,440 minutes a day. What you gonna do with them?
Keenan, I heard that we are all time billionaires.
Yep.
Currency is time. We have billions of seconds and minutes available, right, Keenan?
Absolutely.
Billionaires.
Absolutely. So, you just got to go to work, Coach. What does that mean? You got to do the appointments in the right market. You got to release people. You got to keep going and looking and chasing your dreams, man. That's what I got. And we got the best things. The best things are now. The rollovers, the people that are broke, the life insurance, the Steeler Crusade. It's all of it. It's here.
We got a $1.2 million earner coming, a $600,000 earner coming. We got James who's making $50,000 this month, made $40,000 in August. Last month. How much more evidence, Professor Bob, do we have to have? Camille, how much more evidence do we have to have? You're in the number one hierarchy, and all these people on this call with Cynthia and Roy. So more is to come. All right, everyone. Rod, thanks a lot. Thanks to everyone. Whew. This has been great. God bless. Talk to you next week. John, I'm going to have you do Tuesday night what you did today on that $1,000. That is so good.